When you see the whole world shaking and you feel your heart is breaking, take my hand, no hesitating. Oh, when you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
Okay, I think we're on the air. I'm checking my blog and I'm also checking Facebook. I just want to make sure. Oh, I got to move my microphone closer. So this way you hear me. I think you'll be able to hear me. So there's a little delay from when I start speaking and when it ends. There's about, I don't know, about 10-second delay. I just want to make sure everything is good. But actually, I think I'm live here. Okay, the sound is good. When you're one-man operation, you got to do a lot of different things. So I think I'm going to actually close it out over here. I think we're back. I'm having the internet has been up and down today, so I apologize. I don't know what's going on. I paid the bill, so it should be working. Let me make sure I'm back on live here on. I think I'm coming back live on Facebook. So I apologize. It's technical difficulties. I think we're back. Yeah. Okay. All right. The internet has been up and down today. Sorry about that, but it looks like if it goes out again, I'll rebroadcast this maybe tomorrow around this time. But I apologize. I'll keep on going. I think I'm live back on Facebook again. All right, but the internet has been acting very weird today. I actually started yesterday, and there might be some construction going in the area, and it's getting disrupted. But I'll keep on going. One thing I wanted to do is show you. I have here, and I put this already. Let me hide this my caption for a second. Over here, I have and I'm just gonna, because I'm afraid I'm gonna really knock it down. But you see that it's the NWA championship belt. It's a copy that was given to Ric Flair. So why do I have that there? Last week I went to do a listing presentation, more of a consultation on what has to be repaired on the house that my people want to list. And actually, he bought the house from me in 2011. It was 10 years ago. And he was still stationed in Hawaii. So he bought the house from me sight unseen. And the reason why he trusted me, because I took like a gazillion photos of it. And I videotaped, and I walked through the house, and I showed whatever I thought visually was bad. And then, of course, we had a home inspection. And we're going to talk about all of that today. A lot of this comes into play in today's discussion. So anyway, he likes wrestling. I like wrestling, more of the older school wrestling. And I never met him, by the way. We always said we were going to plan to get together once he got to the United States. And always something comes up, right? And then he invited me over, and he said, I always wanted to give you something, because me and my son were both into wrestling, and he gave me a copy of the belt. And it's heavy. It's really heavy. So it was really nice. I really appreciate that. I'll just say his first name, Gustavo. Thank you very much. And we're going to treasure that belt. Okay. And just another thing before we get into the topic, he's an old client of mine. 2 old clients of mine went onto my new website, started looking for properties. Now, these are people that I've been working with for, one went back to about 2013. The other one probably, I have to look when I put them in my database, but there's another one. It's probably going back to 2012, 2013. And it just shows you, like with this business, you have to be consistent. You have to be in your client's long-term memory. Okay? They can't forget you. And for the agents out there who might be watching, you might do that via sending out postcards, letters. I've done that. I think, and I'm getting into like the environment and protecting the environment. A lot of these get thrown in the trash. And some of it works, by the way. I'm not knocking it. But I do a lot of, I send out a weekly newsletter. And then, I have my blog, I have my website, and I'm trying to do my best to be in the constant memory of my clients. Because, you think, well, I haven't heard from them for 2013, so forget it. But they've been reading my newsletters and keeping in touch, and then clicked on the link to go to my website. So you got to be persistent in this business, and you can't You can't give up easily. It's a tough business out there. You got to keep on going, moving forward, and that's the way to success in this business. But that's a whole other topic. I want to talk today about this. And let me get my caption up here. We're going to talk about 2021, the real estate myth busters. Okay, things that people think it's okay. It was okay like a year ago, but it's not okay now. Okay, that's my finger. It's not okay now. All right. So let's do a little introduction, and I hope this is the right one. Okay, so that's our topic for today. The 2021 Mythbusters, okay, of 2021. I had to reboot my system here, and I lost this graphic. Just hold on. Okay, it's up there. All right, let's get rid of this. Well, actually, let me put up my first caption. And let's see if I make myself in my face here a little bit. And I'm not being a high pressure salesperson. Okay, it's unbelievable right now. I had the one person I showed last week showing about 8 properties, but he's actually an investor. He's looking to buy, and he's actually buying, you know, expensive properties from $400,000 to $500,000. And I told him, I said, you know, we gotta move fast on this. And he was thinking about it and running the numbers, and the next day they were all gone. And I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. That's the way it is. In fact, we went to an open house, and that was the first day of open house, and the agent there said, all offers have to be in by Sunday. We went last Saturday and Sunday, and we'll make a decision. They're even saying they know right off that bat that they will get multiple offers. And this house was $539,000, okay? They knew right off the bat that there would be many offers coming in. So you have to be well prepared in today's market, okay? So that's myth number one, okay, that you could wait. Get that pre-qualification letter now. So if I find you that home that you really love, I could get that contract out quickly with all the paperwork that we need. All right? Okay, let's go to the second one. Always start with your lowest offer. All right, and let me just move up my screen a little bit. Move this up a little bit here. Okay. A year ago, and more than a year ago, you could have done that. You know, you have a house that's $250,000. We'll say, well, let's say they'll take $240,000, or $235,000, whatever. I'm sorry. I really apologize. I mean, unless we see that house, you say it's not worth it. I say it's not worth it. They're asking for, I mean, but the majority of the times, that house will go for that price, and it may even go for a higher price. In other words, people are making offers above the asking price. So you can't lowball it now, okay? You can't say, oh, let me see if I could save $5,000. Let me see if I could save $10,000. No, I'm sorry, you can't do that. Because there will be multiple offers, and some people will bid higher. And even if, now pay attention to this very carefully, even if the house appraises lower, the buyer will make up that difference. So let's say the house is on the market for $250,000. You get it. There are multiple offers. You bid $260,000. The house appraises for $250,000, but the buyers are coming in with the extra money. Okay, it's happening in Virginia. It's happening up north with my friend who's a realtor in New Jersey. It's happening all over the country. The listing agent at this house made a very good point last Saturday. You know, there was another couple there seeing the house and said, why is this happening now? Well, when people were home for a whole year, quarantine, they actually saved money, right? They weren't going out to restaurants and eating and going to plays and shows and expensive dinners and traveling. And so they have this extra disposable income. So they're using that to buy that house, to secure that house, even if the appraisal comes in lower, and they're not going to ask the seller to come down. They say, okay, we'll make up the difference. That's the type of market it is right now. Unbelievable. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, this is from the viewpoint of the seller. And let me move that down over here. And that was actually from a newsletter that I sent out a couple weeks ago. And that you should price your house if you're the seller, as if you are entering an auction. Okay, so don't overprice it. Let's say you say, for instance, okay, my realtor, which hopefully is me, did a comparative market analysis and said I should, put it around 250, 245, 250. But since the market is crazy, I'll go 260, I go 2,000. No, you don't have to do that, because what's going to happen is that the 250,000 will be like an auction reserve price. In other words, when a seller puts a house in auction, they say, I want at least this, okay? And then buyers will go and actually bid above that. So put it at market value so it reaches out to those people who are looking up to 250,000, all right? And if it's a competitive market, they say, all right, if I have to throw in an extra 5,000, 10,000, I'll do it. But price it fairly. Don't go crazy, and because most likely you will get a higher price anyway. But start with a reserve price, saying, I want to at least get this. This is the market value. And again, using the term most likely, you probably will get a higher offer on it. Okay? The next one, and we actually, I think we had a live stream episode on this as well. Okay. And let me move down we talked about this. It was on my blog. I sent out a newsletter on this issue, and it's renovating your house will definitely net you more money when you sell. Now use the term net, okay? That means the money that you make after you pay out your expenses. So let's say you put a detached garage on it and you pay $10,000. And I had a situation like this a couple of years ago where a guy was trying to increase the value of his house. And I called an appraiser, and he said, most of the times you're going to get about half the cost of you putting it up, all right? So if you spend $10,000 to put a detached garage on the house, you'll probably increase the value to about $5,000, okay? What people prefer is the attached garage because, when we get into wintertime, people just love, leaving the house, going into a warm garage and leaving. They don't have to go out in the cold, all right? That's the nice thing about it. Attached garage, a little bit more desirable than a detached garage, all right? Most people, as we said before, have more cash right now because they haven't gone anywhere in 1 year. So unless there's really repairs that are needed on the house, I would do those. But for upgrades, renovations, I would just sell it as is. And the buyer, who actually has a little bit more cash now, would make those renovations because you're most likely not going to get a dollar per dollar amount in return, okay? So you really don't have to do the renovations unless you have to fix something that a home inspector will say, well, that's bad. If there's a big hole in the roof, get that repaired, okay? If your heat pump is on the blink, get that repaired or give them a home warranty, okay? But actually, redoing the kitchen, redoing the bathroom vanity, right now in today's market, you really don't need to do that because you're not always going to recoup that expense of putting that new vanity in the bathroom with your sales price. You may not. The point is that you don't have to right now to sell your house. You just have to make sure that it's in good working order. Which, okay. Okay. Did I go down to here? Yeah, we did the renovation of the house, which leads us to this one. This is the fifth one. And this is actually a good one, which leads to, what we were just talking about. It stems from that. It's safe to skip the home inspection if the houses look good. A lot of people are doing that right now, and I could tell that because when a client, a buyer client calls me and says, I want to look at these homes, I look them up and I see, it went on the market April 10th, and April 12th it says pending. Now, pending means that there are no longer any contingencies on it. Now, there might be, and this is something I would want to discuss with realtor, because I see some listing agents put it to pending, but it's in a condo association and or an HOA, okay, property owners association, a homeowners association, and the buyer could still back out if they are not happy with the documents. All right, with restrictions maybe on the condos or the POA. A couple of years ago, and we finally found the house that she wanted, and she read the POA documents, and there were things like you can't have more than 3 cars parked out in front, you can't barbecue in your back lawn, you can't have more than 2 dogs. She said, forget it, this is too much. All right, and she was able to rescind the contract, and she got back an earnest money deposit. All right, so listing agents should really set the property to pending status when all contingencies are off. That's my view of it, because it could still fall through because of that. Okay, to me, when it goes to pending, there's nothing else that could stop it from closing, unless they they had the appraisal and there were issues with the house, or if from a year ago, not now, like the appraisal came down lower and the seller wouldn't budge and the buyer says, oh, I'm not going to make up the difference, which is not happening now anyway, but it could fall through for that. But contingencies is like a home inspection contingency. You ratify the contract based upon that you come upon an agreed home inspection. Doesn't mean the house has to be perfect. It means that, all right, whatever you ask the seller to repair, and they say, okay, I'll fix this, I'll fix that, but can you fix this and that? And once you're into agreement with that, who's going to fix what? You just full steam ahead to the closing. But a lot of people are foregoing the home inspection right now, right? Because like even if you had 2 offers, and let's say they were the same price, they both didn't ask for any closing cost assistance, but one said, no, I'm not going to bother with home inspection. The seller's going to say, well, I'm going to go with that because they're not going to ask me to repair anything, and there's not going to be any additional cost. So I'm going to go with the one that doesn't ask for a home inspection. So buyers are winning the bids because of that, but I'm not recommending that. Even if there's a chance that you may lose the house, I wouldn't forego the home inspection. I would only forego, and I would make you sign a waiver that you decided not to go with a home inspection. But the only time you might do that is that if you have a lot of money and it's not going to bother you, like if you have to put in a whole new HVAC system, it's not going to bother you if you have to put in a new roof. If you got the money for that and you say, I'll take care of that, then that would be a reason why to forego. I would still recommend it, but that would be a situation if you have a lot of cash on hand. But a home inspector will find things with your house that the appraiser won't find all these things, because the appraiser is basically looking at the size of the rooms, the square footage. They'll see, if there's a broken window, and if the VA or FHA that has to be repaired, if the steps outside the house are going too high and there's no railing, they'll say it has to have a railing in there. But they're not going to really check out the HVAC system. They're not going to go really inspect the roof. They're not going to go under the house, okay? So it's important to have those inspections, okay? All right, that's what I want to take today. I wanted to just show this other little, it's under a minute, a little video about what we discussed last week with using your stimulus check and tax refund for your down payment. So let me show you that. We're going to close this out, and I'm nice and big, and then let's just show this. Okay, and on my blog, I've uploaded, and these guides come out quarterly. So right now, it's the spring buyer and seller guides, and here's on the bottom left of the screen. That's the URL for it. But basically, if you go to my blog, realestateWithMrG.blog, and you'll see there in the menu, resource materials, you could actually use go there and click, and then download I think I have all here. There's the selling your house guide for this spring, and the things to consider when you buy your home. Okay, so you could go to my blog and download those, and there's no cost to you. Okay, they're free. I'm doing that nice for you. Okay, and I'm hearing from my producer Leonard that we have a special guest in the audience. Let me see what he's saying. What's that, Leonard?
Chris, great news. We have a famous celebrity in the audience. He was the lead character of a children's puppet show on Italian television in the early 1960s. The character, created in 1958 by artist Maria Perego, debuted on Italian television in 1959 and has been customarily voiced by actor Giuseppe Peppino Mazzulla and later David Garbolino. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Topo Gigio.
Well, I haven't seen him in years. I remember seeing him on the Ed Sullivan Show. I didn't know that Topo was still around, but it was good to see him. So anyway, that's our live stream for today. I had my second Moderna shot yesterday. Was a little fatigued yesterday and today. I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm for the vaccination. I leave that up to you, but I just say, please wear your mask, keep social distance. We're almost at the end of this tunnel. I'm seeing light at the end of the tunnel. I'm actually seeing more listings coming out on the multiple listing service. So I think more people are feeling more comfortable with listing their homes. But we got to keep it going. So But keep your distance, wear your mask, wash your hands. And most of all, with the stuff that's going on right now, please be kind to each other, okay? I always say that the greatest power that we have is to love. And the greatest gift we have is each other, okay? So I'll see you next week.